In late May of 2019, screenshots began spreading like wildfire through the Team Fortress 2 community. With screenshots this damaging, it was only a matter of time before they made it out of their small communities to become the biggest controversy in TF2's history. Team Fortress 2 is a game that many could say stood the test of time. With over 15 years of life under its belt, it still has a massive player base of dedicated people to this day. But with every community, it comes with its bad apples. Mechawreck was a fairly small creator. With a game like Team Fortress 2, a subscriber count above 10,000 was a pretty big deal. That small number may seem tiny to some, but in the TF2 community, it's plenty enough to make people treat you some type of way compared to normal TF2 players. The power dynamic causes some people to overlook some questionable actions a person may make, only because of a number. Mechawreck was a normal YouTuber, creating gameplay videos and collabing with other YouTubers. From the outside looking in, everything was ordinary. Like TurkeyTom said in his video, the only foreshadowing of anything fishy going on was the tweets he made on April 27, 2019 about his Discord server. Funny how history repeats itself, huh? Well, once again, the Mechawreck's Cave of Gold, or COG, has been shut down after a massive downward spiral in many users and even staff. Normally I would reopen it, but I'm gonna be like Valve and not do it for the third time. Something was clearly wrong, reading over this about 4 years later. This had been his second time shutting down his Discord server for questionable things. No one really knows what he meant by downward spiral, so most people to this day probably think it was just something personal, like a server member or staff becoming rogue and breaking rules. But for whatever reason, this tweet would be deleted, which served as a prologue of what he would be hiding behind closed doors. A small YouTuber that goes by the name of Darty would release a video titled The Dark Side of Mechawreck. Going through his channel, you can see multiple videos from years ago that Darty had collaborated with Mechawreck to create. So clearly, these two had to be friends at some point. If he was just about to drop a hit piece on Mecha, there had to have been something of substance there. And to everyone's surprise, it had a lot more than substance. Mechawreck claimed to be 19 at the time of the video being released and was preying on underage fans in his community. Mecha would use his community to build friendships with underage fans, and once he'd gained the trust he so desperately wanted, he'd begin making advances on his victims. Suupj, a 12-year-old boy, is his first known victim of Mechawreck's deplorable behavior. They were both friends at the time, and everything was as normal as an online friendship between two people would be, until things started taking a turn for the worst. Suupj, the 12-year-old boy, would moan on a voice call, and he thought it was funny. Now, all would be well if Mechawreck didn't directly message the young boy. Suupj, how old even are you? Like, what are you? I'm a prepubescent lollyboy who moans in a VC. Suupj explained to Mechawreck that he was a prepubescent. In other words, he hasn't even hit puberty yet. Mechawreck would later say Suupj made him contemplate some real bad things, basically saying that it made him horny. But instead of outright saying that, he kept it vague, as to make Suupj question his real intentions. Oof, well, congrats, Suup. You made a man contemplate some real bad things tonight. I'll need many drinks after this. F for your mental health. Boy, you're the one moaning like an anime girl expecting to get a reaction. Would it not be alien of me to get a little aroused from something like that regardless who it is? He's trying to make the young boy think that what's going on here is okay by telling him it was normal because he'd have gotten aroused by anyone. As if that's even justifiable. He basically is implying that his arousal is not because of his victim, but the victim's action. This is a clear manipulation tactic. Many pedophiles use it to get their victim to believe what's going on is okay. He makes it seem like what he's doing isn't as bad as it actually is. Mechawreck comes off by victimizing himself, acting like the child is the one who is really in power, and he himself can't control what's going on. You moan one more time and I will send you to the Shadow Realm. That sounds fun. Suup, do not toy with me. I am a weak-ass man. I'm a very interesting person away from the screen and whatnot. The last thing I need to set my dark side off is someone on my Discord moaning like an anime girl over and over. Using your dark side to censor the word pedophile is a really interesting way to conceal what you're doing, but alright. In brief, I am extremely lustful. That is mainly what my dark side is. No bad intention, no destructive behavior, just me being a naughty bastard. He's just a naughty bastard. There's not even a single bad intention in his entire being. He just really loves little boys who moan like anime girls. As we've seen a few times now, he uses this to make himself not look as bad as he really is. He continues to explain his sexual feelings to this small child. I mean, it wouldn't be inherently wrong if it wasn't a child doing it. It was for the shock value and the reaction. I can handle it. It's just regardless of the reaction, the wonder down under lurks. The wonder down under. Now he's using synonyms to talk about his penis to a 12-year-old? He goes on to talk about him masturbating too much, and it goes really in depth about his sexual nature to this literal child. He uses more synonyms to come off quirky and relatable, but it just comes off like a nasty pervert. Well, I do handle the joystick way too much. How much is too much? 20 times an hour? Well, it's not that much. Try 4 times a day. Now, instead of this conversation ending, Mecha continues to tell the kid that he wants to do it on call secretly while Suupj moans for him. It's fine, I'm a man of honesty. It's these things that I need to kinda keep secret from the populace. You didn't really break me, but more contemplating ripping something out of secrecy. Cheers, but please don't bring me into this mood. It's either my attention is brought to something else, or I ask you to moan for me. It goes one way or the other. Well, until then, I have to mainly find ways to deal with the dispensers until I can find a good therapist. A dispenser is a TF2 item, which he is using to refer to his erection. SoupJ states that he didn't really feel affected by this, until later on he explained how it just didn't really sink in just yet.
What's your background with Mecha?
I guess I'm one of his friends. We play TF2 and talk, like, semi-often.
What happened that led up to this?
I was, like, being a dumbass, I was, like, moaning in voice chats for shock value, and then he started DMing me, and that led to him talking about his, like, masturbation issue or something.
How did you react when it was happening and after it happened?
Like, I was nonchalant about it, and, like, I didn't really care. And then looking back, I'm like, that's fucked up. Basically, it has more an impact on me now than, like, it did back then, because I didn't really register what was going on back then.
How did this affect you?
I mean, like, it didn't really until I was told what he had done to other people, and then I was like, that's really fucked up. And I want to help, like, spread the word that, like, to help people not go into the situation that others were in.
How old were you when this happened?
12, and he knew my age because I told him before the conversation.
Wow. Alright, thanks for coming on.
Unsurprisingly, Swoop was only the beginning of Mechawreck's downward spiral into pedophilia. Mecha seems to have taken the liking to young boy, because his next victim was a 15-year-old boy who he'd play games with on his server, just like SoupJ. This kid drew NSFW artwork as a means of making money, in specific, Ahego commissions. What's even more disgusting is that adults actually commissioned a 15-year-old kid to draw sexual artwork. While there isn't much information on that, this kid was making Ahego art of Mechawreck when other members in the server suggested that he made a lolly version of Mechawreck. Mecha really liked this idea, so much that he'd even offer an item out of his inventory that someone call a trade. A disgusting one at that. The use of in-game items to trade for NSFW artwork was one that Mecha knew would work. Kids see in-game items higher than money nowadays, myself at one point included. This makes the situation way more predatory, as Mecha knew this would get the young boy to make the drawings of him. In the wake of being sent the drawing by this young boy, Mecha would tell the child that it made him horny. Mimi wrecked like dispenser machine from Squad Citadel II. I didn't know you were into lollies. Used to, but nonetheless, Mimi hard boy now. Fuck. Is this dude an actual child himself? He's acting like a man baby. To put it in the lightest terms possible, I got a dark side that shows when this stuff is around. Regardless, I'm not in that mood and I can't escape. Take it out on Starry. No, why not you? I've seen enough hentai to see where this is going. I guess it's more the interactive factor, you know? I'd ask for help, but I don't know. Trust me, I'm the last person you want to ask for help. Nah, I could see worse. It's up to you. And how may I help then? Go wank off, fam. I will, but got nothing to help with. Porn doesn't work because it's fake as shit. Hentai is meh. It really falls under the assistance of others to help me get through this shit. It's really the only good way. Again, it's up to you. I got a few ways that work. Some more demanding than others. Go for it. Pics of what? You. What? Yeah. He attempted to solicit pictures from a minor, most likely nudes as we can assume. I'm sorry, I don't feel very comfortable. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. It's not uncommon to get that response. I'm a depraved person looking to relieve himself of an addiction. They ended up blocking Mecha, which SoupJ would then message Mecha confronting him on his disgusting behavior. I wasn't actually serious. If I was serious, I would have been way more direct. Just go DM him. That sounded pretty serious to me. He literally asked a 15-year-old boy for pictures of himself and told him exactly what he was feeling. Where was the punchline? Blank is a good guy. I don't want him leaving all these friendships because I was dumb with my wording. Make a few dumb decisions with your wording and everything goes to hell. Well, he must have been wording a lot of things wrong then. What could he mean when he said Mimi wrecked dispenser machine from Citadel II? Maybe he was talking about the in-game dispense... Yeah, nah, this dude's lying. Who the fuck says I'm a depraved man with a crippling addiction and means it? Hell, I even used the bold font. I don't use fonts when conveying a real topic. I would have just expected Blank to simply retort with some statement after I said the final message to him. Like literally any person I have talked to. But he just runs away and doesn't actually hear me out. Was it my fault to believe that everyone was the same in that regard? Yes. Was it my fault that I worded everything horribly? Yes. Was I serious about asking a male for nudes when I'm clearly straight? No. Dog, you are clearly fruity. No one asks a little kid for nudes that doesn't actually want them. If I were to be genuinely asking for his help with that, I would have been so much worse. To say that in itself makes me want to go see a pastor. He was obviously desperate for the victim's attention in more ways than one, to the point where he was borderline begging. To say this is not serious is like saying the earth isn't round. He was clearly being serious when he pressured this kid. This all being some elaborate joke or prank is such a stupid claim for Mecha to even make in this situation, and the fact he did just shows how stupid he really is. If I was actually trying to pressure nudes out of someone, I would have been way more relentless. Has to be the dumbest thing to come out of this guy's mouth yet. He then states that he hopes the kid would forgive and forget. He wants the child to act like nothing ever happened, as if it's no harm, no foul. Well, Mecha, I can tell you this now. It was not no harm, no foul. Unsurprisingly, there was another victim, a 16-year-old boy he also met in his server, which will go down in a very similar way to the last two. Are we even surprised at this point? I mean, there's one thing I gotta do. What's that? Handle the joystick? Ah, I see. Not many know, but every second of the day, I am hornier than a brass band. I can tell. Oh, but yeah, me got problemerinos. You done erecting your dispenser? Nope, still going. Takes way too long. Sucks. This shit can go on for hours. Erectile dysfunction? More like malfunction for me. It's only been 3 hours. Only? Yeah, sometimes it goes up to 7 if I can even finish at all. Fluctuates between 20 minutes and 7 hours given the circumstances. I ain't a busy guy, so I just let it happen. I just try to mask it because of the long times. There are very few things that'll make it quicker by a metric fuck ton. But I digress. I'm still going. How is this even possible for this dude to go for 7 hours? Does he have a job? A life? Or does it not just get raw? You know what? I don't even want to think about it. If I could just be honest with you for a second, you kind of make me feel this way sometimes, not gonna lie. As insane as it sounds. Well, at least I'm helping in some way, lol. Yeah, even though I got a girlfriend, I can't gloss over the fact that you get me like this. It just ain't possible or mentally healthy to do so. This dude had a girlfriend, because there's no way she's still with him after this. He had a girlfriend and still preyed on little boys on Discord. Bro, go talk to your girlfriend. Why do you feel the need to talk to little boys about how erect your dispenser is? Well, regardless, truth's out. You turn me on. Well, that's a boost in the old self-esteem, and a boost of my third leg. Now, I would go on to ask you for something relating to this, but I can tell what'll happen. What do you mean? I mean, I kinda need help with this. If I've lasted this long, it means nothing has worked so far. Even the thing most people find effective. Where are you going with this? I mean, you're one of my best friends in my opinion. The last thing I'd want is my dumbass driving you away. Well, it's not like you asked me for pics of my asshole or something. I mean, I didn't say I didn't want it either. This guy is a freak, what? For the past 4 hours, I've been doing the same thing. Something from a friend that really turns me on wouldn't be impossible. Just bizarre at first glance. I want to end this shit. And nothing right now is working. Would you not be upset if you just kept doing the same thing for 4 hours just to get a little bit of 4-second pleasure? I mean, a little bit, but I'd probably just keep it to myself. There's one thing that works. Does not require anything at all. Just sound. A sound? Yeah, my absolute biggest weakness is moaning. Just help a friend out. I know, but I don't feel too comfortable doing it. It's nothing personal. I know the guy has his needs, but I can't. I'm sorry if you feel like I was leading you on or wasting your time. Well, how do you think you're gonna go about it if it did happen? Like, were you gonna go into Discord VC or record it if you were to do it? I guess record? Then would it not be a problem to just record something like that? It would be a problem for me mentally. Oh, well, I'll just leave this in the no-no drawer then. This is the audio from the victim's interview.
I felt like he had ulterior motives, like when we first met. Trying to use me to bust a fat nut. I was thinking one of two things. I was thinking that one, he was either trying to get stuff to blackmail me with, or two, he only wanted to be friends with me because he wanted that shit out of me. I was a little freaked out at first. I tried laughing it off, obviously.
This victim was basically all of the other instances. Mecha asked him for pictures, they thought he was joking, but after realized he was not kidding, he told Mecha to never come to him with this stuff ever again. But, of course, Mecha kept pushing, and after realizing he wasn't getting anywhere, he told them to never speak of it to anyone. As for the next victim, Mecha had coerced them into moaning on the voice chat with them whilst Mecha, yeah. The victim would feel disgusted with themselves, and out of respect for them, this is the farthest I will talk about their situation. Now, as we can see, Mecha had stumbled into a continuous lapse in his judgment. He had done this whole charade over 5 times now, and this was all over just the course of 1 month. And this is only counting when everything had started being documented. What happened prior to that, still no one knows to this day. And that is sickening that some victims will never get the justice they deserve. Just to drive the point home, Mecha admitted to SuubJ that he had done stuff with someone else a few months prior during August. Now, while it's unconfirmed, it's pretty fair to assume that Mecha had done this for a long time. The way he had manipulated his victims, he seemed too comfortable and good at it, I guess you could say. He would repeat the same things he'd say to other victims in hopes to get them to do what he wanted. There's just no way this man didn't do it on other occasions. Now, whilst this all could be faked, Mechawreck put any possibility of this being fake 6 feet under when he would admit to all of it on voice call, which had been included in the YouTuber Darty's Google Drive of evidence.
If I find out that you're actually lying about this, then I'm gonna be really pissed off. Did you do anything with him that is like over the line?
Like, define over the line.
Like video chat, like anything like that. Did you do that?
Yes.
Like specifically what?
Well, him and I masturbated together.
You didn't ask him for anything else.
I'm positive.
How old is?
Well, there were... No, wait, no. There were a few times when I did ask him seductive and stuff, but he was fine with it.
How old was he?
How old was?
16?
My God!
Oh my no!
Many of Mecha's friends would go on to defend him in the wake of Darty's video coming out, which obviously failed. They danced around the issue at hand and literally used his upcoming birthday as a means to gain sympathy. Yes, because his little birthday party should stop people from talking about him being a child toucher. On the YouTuber Doomsday.exe's channel, Mecha would state that he apologized to all the victims. Yes, Mecha, you apologizing to grooming multiple kids is going to save everything. Once he realized that no one was going to take his bullshit as an excuse, Mechawreck took it into his own hands. He deleted everything under his name Mechawreck. All his videos, all that work on his channel, gone. After this, he was never seen again. This man has taken everyone he's been in contact with through hell, and honestly, he deserves to be locked up. Children online should be safe to play their favorite video games without running the gamble that a creep is in their game ready to prey on them.